Hey guys, it's Felicia from Sew with Felicia, and today we are sewing up McCall's pattern 8221, and we're sewing up View C. Now this is graded a level 1 learn to sew, very easy pattern. So grab your fabric, grab your machine, some thread, get yourself a bottle of water, and let's get to sewing. Make sure you subscribe and like this video. Alright guys, so first things first, let's make sure our fabric is nice and flat. I'm using a piece of fabric that is folded over in half so that I can cut both front pieces and both back pieces at the same time. Make sure you go ahead and snip your notches while you have your pattern pieces on there. Don't snip in too deep, and I'm using scrap fabric from my pockets. Alright, today I'm sewing on a Fab Passport 2.0. This is my daughter's machine. At any rate, I am not using my standard presser foot today, but you can definitely use your standard presser foot. I'm choosing to use my overlock foot or overcast foot, which gives you a sewing stitch that looks comparable to a serger stitch. Now, all right, y'all, we're going to start with our two back pieces. Now, I have my right sides touching. We're going to sew down and around this curve, all right? Let's rock and roll. Let's make sure it's lined up. Y'all beginners, y'all get out there, y'all use your clips or pins to keep this fabric together, okay? Me, you know, hey, just use your pins or clips, okay? Let's get to it. Now, we never sew over pins, but we do use pins or clips to keep our fabric from shifting while we're sewing. All right, we're gonna pause here. When you guys get to the curves, I want you to slow down and make sure you take your time. There's no rush. We wanna finish our garment or project, whatever it is we're making, we want to do a good job. So there's no rush. So slow your speed down if you can, or if you need to on your machine. This machine has 3 speed settings: slow, medium, and I'm on the fastest setting that it has here. So if I'm pressing on the the foot pedal all the way down, it's not going to go faster than, you know, what I have it set to go. Let's go. Now you want to be mindful to guide your fabric so that you have a straight stitch. We want to pull our fabric at least 2 inches away from the needle and snip close to the fabric. Don't snip your fabric, but snip close to the fabric. Go back, find your tail. So we've gotten this part sewn. Let's look at it. Remember, I told you it's a finishing stitch, much like a serger stitch, but it doesn't have the blade, okay? All right, now we're going to do the same thing to the front. All right, we have our front pieces and we still have our right sides together. We're going to sew down and around this curve. Now, one thing I didn't pause to explain is on the back pieces, what I did was mark along where the, where I snipped it so that I could see it in the event that I can't see it once I've sewn it, okay? So while the pattern doesn't call for marking your notches with chalk, I choose to do it so that when I'm sewing, I can still see where the notches are. All right, and we want to make sure we sew all the way off the fabric. Again, 2 inches away from the needle, pull it out. Always start with your thread tails to the back. Let's slide that over out of the way. Let's go ahead and grab our tails and snip those. Okay, y'all, so I am marking my notches with my chalk on here so I don't have to look for it. I don't snip far into my fabric with my notches because I don't want it to have a deep slit. And I sew with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So we're going to keep the pockets that I cut together. So we'll be on one side of the shorts and this pocket will be on the other. Now, also what I want to show you is that I did mark the hand, like this is the opening. From here to here will be where my hand goes in, right? This is the notch, okay? It's not called for on the pattern to mark it like that, but I mark it like that. All right, let's line up these notches. Keep it in place, or clips to the other side. Lining up my notches, grabbing some clips, and we're going to clip it and hold it in place. Let's do the others. That was the back. Let's get to the front. All right, y'all, go ahead and like this video because you're still here, and subscribe to my channel and come back for more. We've got pocket pieces on. Now we have to sew them actually onto the fabrics. Now remember, if you're not using a finishing stitch like me, you can definitely do your straight stitch and then go ahead and zigzag stitch in the seam allowance. Got our pockets sewn on already. These are almost shorts. We're gonna go take it to the ironing board and we're gonna give it a good press. All of these seams that we've sewn, we're gonna give it a press and press it open. All right. Now this is probably the least favorite part for almost every sewist I know. Only a few enjoy the part of pressing and ironing, But trust me when I tell you, make sure you press those seams because it makes your garment, your project, whatever you're making look more professional and less homemade. Now what we're going to do, this is the right side. We're going to put right sides together. Remember, your back is going to be bigger than your front. Okay, so now we've sewn all of our seams and we are going to put our pieces together. And then let's come over here and we're going to clip this side together. Clips or pins, whichever is your preference. There is no right, there is no wrong. Here it is preference unless you're using fabric that will, you know, get holes in it if you use pins, and then clips are, you know, your choice. But with cotton fabric, choose what you want to use. All right, we want to go all the way around, use as many clips or pins as you feel comfortable with. There is no right or wrong. We have some notches in this fabric as well, because what we need to do, remember those dots I was showing you guys earlier? Well, we need to sew down from the dot down and from the dot up, or, you know, from here down, because we don't want our pocket to be open from the top to the bottom, right? So we're going to need to sew that so that we have a hand space like that, okay? And we're going to do that to both sides. So let's go ahead and put our clips in on this side. Make sure our pocket is not folded in. We don't want to have a clunky pocket now. I press my seam allowance towards the pocket piece, towards this piece, so it's laying this way. You may have chosen to press your seam allowance the other way, but make sure they're going the same direction. Just because, you know, it'll lay flatter and it'll lay nicer. And that's pretty much it. Again, there are notches at the bottom of the pocket piece because we do have to do some sewing here. I'm going to go ahead and put a clip in the pocket piece here just because we're going to end up putting it there anyway. All right, so again, these dots, can you see them here? And where's the other one, y'all? I can't see it. I don't even know where it's at. Let's look here. Okay, let's look at this side. So here, wait, you can see it here, down, and here, up. We're going to sew because we want that to be closed. And we're using a straight stitch. So let's go ahead and change out our presser foot to our standard presser foot. We're using a straight stitch. And right now we are simply sewing this section so that we can close up the opening for the pocket piece. Make sure it's all flat, and let's sew. Back tack at the beginning and the end. It's a very short space to sew actually. And we're going to back tack, we're already here. And you can reinforce it if you want. Go over, you know, 2 or 3 times, what have you. And you back tack at the beginning and the end because that creates a knot in the thread so that it doesn't come loose. All right, now let's do the other side. All right, slide that there. Let's slide this over out of the way for a moment. Let's go ahead and snip this thread. So if you look on this side now, we have so down here, around, all the way around down, and then down to the bottom. All right, here we go. We're gonna okay, when we get to the part of the pocket, I like to drop my needle whenever I pause. The top part of the pocket here, let's see, y'all see that? All right, the top part of the pocket, we're going to drop our needle even with the straight stitch, okay? Drop your needle, lift your presser foot, pivot your fabric. Leaving your needle in the fabric helps to keep your fabric in place, so just make sure you drop your needle in the fabric if it doesn't already stop with it. You know, when you stop it, it doesn't stay in the fabric already. And then keep going. Look at you, you are sewing it all right now. We are going to sew down the other side. Look at that, they're coming together. They are coming together. It's a really quick sew. Again, we need to pivot our fabric. All right, now you've got this. Don't tense up. Take a sip of water. Relax. Drop your shoulders. Unclench your jaw. Let's go. We're sewing. You're doing it. So now we've got our pieces together. Okay. Now we're going to sew. Let's move these scissors so we don't hurt ourselves. We're going to sew the saddle seam. All right. So now what you're going to do is take this seam and this seam, the front and the back, and we are going to put them together like so, and put a clip. We want to keep this seam. We can take this one out now. We're going to keep this seam together as best as we can. That's your crotch seam. All right, and then you'll clip or pin all along this whole section. Let's get to sewing. have shorts. These are nice size shorts. All right. All right, y'all, we are back. Okay, so we're dealing with our waistband. We've got to enclose that raw edge. So we're going to fold it over 1/4 inch, give it a press, and then we're going to fold it over again about 1.25 inches for the elastic waistband casing. So the way I do it is I take my fabric, put it on my sewing machine. I use the straight stitch. I use the longest stitch possible. I measure where I need it to be, which here is 1/4 inch, and I'm showing you up close there. And I go all the way around. Now you can pull this out. This is called a basting stitch. You can pull that stitch out or you can leave it there. All right, and then what we're going to do here is go ahead and fold it over. I'm just showing you here. We're going to do the 1/4 inch, and then we're going to fold it over again for the to make the casing. So of course the elastic that I'm using is 1 inch wide, and so it's longer. Now we're just doing, you know, the favorite part that everybody likes to do, which is that pressing part. And now we are back doing that 1 1/4 inch. It's not really quite 1/4, but I'm gonna say 1 1/4 inch down for the waistband, the casing. And now what we're going to do when we finish this is go ahead and fold it at that stitch line, and we're going to give it another press. Right, here we go. There's a lot of math and sewing. I hope you guys are enjoying it. So now what we're going to do is sew a straight stitch, just your normal straight stitch. You could even do a decorative stitch here if you want to. And you're going to go all the way around the very bottom, which is what I was pointing to, the very bottom of that fold, right? And we're going to leave about a 2 to 3 inch wide opening, as I'm showing you here, because we've got to put our elastic in there. Now, because this pattern, I don't think it was a guide. I don't know. There was no directions in the pattern that I had, but I just took my 1 inch wide elastic, pulled it around my waist so I felt it was snug, or I felt it was comfortable, and I snipped it. I'm making a size large because that's the only size I have. Actually, my sister gave me this pattern, and she was like, here, I want you to make it because I want to make a pair, so you make it so I can make it with you. We ain't never make it together, but in here I found it, and I was like, let me make some because I need some shorts. Anyway, that's my little lady. I'm putting my elastic in, and one of my sons, my little baby boy, I'm putting my elastic in here. Now, what I did here is, I didn't even show that part. Okay, so what I did was fold my elastic over about 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch, either one, whichever is most comfortable for you. I zigzag stitch up and down the elastic to keep it together. And then I, of course, put it back inside the waistband. And then here I did use like a little piece of fabric, there you see it there, to indicate the back of the shorts. And I sewed it closed with a straight stitch. Now what we're doing is the same thing we did for the waistband. We are sewing that basting stitch so that I can fold it over 1/4 inch and then fold it over 1/2 inch. Now the pattern says there is a 5/8 hem allowance. I just did a total of 3/4. You know, 1/2 inch plus 1/2 inch plus 1/4 inch equals 3/4 inches. And there you have it. Oh, fluff my hair because, you know, hey, that thing is, I don't know. Anyhow, and so then we sew it close to the raw edge. I'm showing you here that I've pressed in the markers so that I know where it is. I don't have to use pins because I pressed it. And here you're going to sew to the, on the edge still of the pattern or fabric, but it's going to be closer to the edge. See, just like that. That bottom stitch, the one that you saw to your right, that's the basting stitch. You can take that out or you can leave it there. It's really up to you. Listen, if you have made it this far and you are sewing this, I am so proud of you. You are doing such an amazing job. I want to see your shorts, and if you're on YouTube, I don't know if you can tag me on YouTube, but I know you can on TikTok, Facebook, and all the other platforms. So let me see. But anywho, here they are on. I love that they have pockets. But if you want to see how I style this for real when I wear it out, you're going to have to come over to TikTok to see how I do. But y'all, make sure you like, subscribe, and follow all the things.